Greetings and salutations, one and all. I thought before delving into the random rumblings of my brain, I would give a little context to my madness and rumblings, a little insight into why I decided to start my YouTube channel and why I upload the type of videos that I am uploading. It all began when I was a much younger humanoid, and I used to play a text-based RPG, which for the non-gamers out there, RPG stands for role-playing game. Nope, not that type of roleplay. In this game, you would create a fictional character to be part of this fictional text-based world. In the text-based world, you could do many things that you can also do in the real world. So you can work, go to the gym, buy things, trade in the stock market, start up your own business. In the fictional world, you could also do many things that you can't really do in the real world. Or at least I wouldn't endorse such activities as attacking people and hospitalizing them, mugging them for their money, or simply leaving them on the street to increase your standing within the community. Other things such as crime and many other dubious activities. All in all, this text-based world was a terrible reflection of how the real world actually works, but it was fun. And of course, it was a game, so you take it with more than just a pinch of salt. One of the biggest parts of the game was when a group of players would come together and form what they called a faction. And there were hundreds of factions within the game. And as a player, you could join any one of these factions and you would support, you would socialize with the other members, you would commit organized crime together because crime apparently is more fun in groups and when it is organized. And it was also more profitable. And overall, the faction created a family environment in the game or a social circle. And of course, if someone picked on you, then you would have 99 other members that could back you up. One of the functions within the faction was the ability for certain people to send out newsletters to update the rest of the members on the faction's goings on and happenings. Unfortunately for the people in my faction, I was one of those people with the power to send newsletters to everyone. And I most certainly abused this power. I'm only joking, as Spider-Man said, with great power comes great responsibility. And I took the power and responsibility of being able to send newsletters very seriously. Mostly, I would send them to just add a little bit of fun, humor, and motivate the faction when we were at war or entering a competition. As time went on, I had the idea of collating all the newsletters that were sent out by everyone, not just me. It just so happened that my newsletters were more numerous than everyone else's. The idea being by collating and archiving all the newsletters that were sent out to the faction over the months and years, we would slowly build up a history of what was happening in the faction at any given point. As you could go back to a particular date, see what newsletters were sent out in that period, and get a brief idea of what happened in the faction during that time. And I decided to call this archive Random Rumblings. So that is the inspiration of the naming of this channel. Way back over 10 years ago, playing a game, the phrase, the two words, random rumblings, came to my mind, and ever since then, I really liked that combination and thought it very fitting for my YouTube channel also. What inspired me to create and start posting videos on my YouTube channel was a few things. Taking YouTube out of the equation, out of the picture, I still absolutely love making videos and voice notes of a goofy nature, funny, some that are expressing deeper, more serious feelings. And I would often share these videos, voice notes, text messages with my friends, family, work colleagues, hopefully to brighten up their day or because inspiration struck me and an idea came to my mind and I wanted to create it because Well, because I love it, and it really is quite something to see how people respond to the videos and messages that I send them. And one of the best feelings is for sure when someone replies to one of my messages saying that it made their day. Thankfully, thus far, it has only been positive responses mostly. No one has yet turned around and responded to me saying that after listening to your message, I've decided to end the world. Or you. And occasionally, someone would respond to one of my random ramblings that I would send with the response saying, you should consider starting a podcast or a YouTube channel. That planted the seed, I feel, in my mind. And as it began to grow, I really liked that idea of being part of a podcast or creating a YouTube channel and putting my ideas out there on some sort of platform. Over time, I bent my thought to the idea of making a YouTube channel or being part of a podcast more and more. Till one day, I did get an opportunity to go into a proper studio, proper recording studio, and sit with another person and record two podcast episodes with a local charity that I volunteer with. At this point, I thought, great, I wanted to be a part of a podcast, and here is the podcast. But as that project is on hold for the moment and for the foreseeable future, the idea of creating my own YouTube channel started to crop back up into my mind again, something that I had a little bit more control over. So I began brainstorming ideas of content, creating the icon and the banner. And this preparation and research went on for a fair few months without me actually making any moves, putting out any content. Probably because of that little bit of inhibition of thinking about how is it going to be received when I put things out there? Is it going to be a flop? Is it going to be a success? But then two or three things happen. So the first thing was that there were some key people in my personal life, which I'm very grateful for, that motivated me to just go for it. The second is a memory of a work colleague or a conversation that I was having with a work colleague, and they said something that has stuck with me over many, many years. They said, if you chase after money, the money will elude you. However, if you chase after your passions, then the money will find you. Now, I was young at the time, and I thought, okay, I understand what you are saying. You're saying that if I chase money, then likely it will elude me for various reasons. Maybe greed, maybe I'm not going about things in an honest way, so eventually it bites me in the butt. Or perhaps because no matter how much money I make, it will never be enough. I'll always want more because chasing after the money doesn't bring the same type or level of satisfaction as pursuing my passions would. But if I go after my passions, because I'm passionate about it, then the money will find me. I'll make loads of money because I'm doing something I'm passionate about. So I'm putting all my heart into it, and everyone's going to see that heart and effort that I'm putting in. But over the years, my understanding, at least my personal understanding of what was said to me, has developed, you could say. And now I feel that they weren't saying that if you follow your passions, then you will be a millionaire, that everyone's going to love what you put out there. My interpretation of what was said changed to if you follow your passions, then whatever success you make from following that passion will be enough for you. So even if I get one view from someone else that's not myself or my mother, then I will be over the moon with just that one view. And so that really helped me or motivated me to, again, just go for it and start uploading. The final thing was Kevin Hart. I watched a video where he started by saying, I hate a talker. If you say you're going to do something, then do it. So then I thought, okay, I'm talking a lot about creating this YouTube channel. let me just go and create it. Even still, it all took me 1 or 2 weeks to be satisfied with the first video that I wanted to post. Of course, being the first video, you want it to be exactly how you envisioned. But I did indeed click upload eventually, and that is how I was inspired to create my YouTube channel, Random Ramblings. Alright, I'm almost finished, and you're beginning to see just why I'm calling this channel Ramblings, because I can go on for quite some time. Rest assured, I do try and keep as much to the point as I possibly can. I would like to end by sharing a little bit about what inspired the random content that I will be rambling on about on my channel. At first, I was going to do a lot of research into what sort of content was successful, how I should deliver my content, and basically what would help a channel grow. But then I thought about what my colleague said about pursuing your passions, not for the sake of any particular gain, but because it is your passion and because it is what I love doing. So that feeling of enjoyment and that feeling that I love creating these videos that I used to send to my family, friends, and work colleagues that are close to me, I should go about my YouTube channel and creating content that fills me with those feelings. When I'm creating, I should love what I'm creating and enjoy making them. And that to me felt right and struck a chord with me and made me feel that, yes, this is the way that I want to develop my YouTube channel. Releasing content that I feel will be positive for people, that will hopefully brighten up their day, and just as importantly, and perhaps maybe a little bit more importantly, is doing so in a way that still has that essence of me doing what I love doing, creating in a way that I enjoy and makes me feel good. And with a little bit of luck, I hope that the glorious feelings that I feel while I am thinking and creating the content that I will upload to my channel will cross space and time, and viewers will feel the same or similar or adjacent glorious feelings as they consume my content. I do realize that the past few minutes of ramblings did not actually describe what inspired the content that I will be rambling about. So let me get to that right this second before I go off on some other tangent. It was actually a story that inspired the sort of content that I hope to be posting going forward. So without further ado, here is a story of a teacher, a student, and lamps. Sit back as we head into ancient times. The student made their way through the halls of their teacher's palace. Today, they were to be given an important task to complete. Arriving at the meeting, the student bowed at their teacher's feet before awaiting their teacher's instruction. The teacher began by placing 2 cup-shaped lamps filled to the brim with oil in each palm of the student's hands. As they explained, "My dear student, walk through all the rooms in this palace. Come back to me after you have seen everything. However, remember, I will train you no further should you spill even a single drop of oil." 2 aides accompanied the student as they began the fulfillment of the task to ensure the lamps remained full to the brim. Several hours later, the student returned triumphant, having not spilt a single drop of oil. The teacher asked, "Describe to me, in detail, what you saw in each room of the palace." To this, the student could only reply, Revered teacher, my only accomplishment is not having spilled a single drop of oil on your quite lovely carpets. My attention was so focused on not spilling any of the oil, I hardly spared a glance to noticing what was in each of the rooms. Of your very lovely palace, might I add? Dear student, you have only partially completed the task. My injunctions were clear: to see everything in each room, whilst not spilling a drop. Repeat the task. This time, carefully observe what is in each room, whilst not spilling any of the oil. Once more, the students set off. It was no easy task, but several hours later, the student returned to their teacher. Once more, they had not spilt a single drop of oil. Describe to me, in detail, what you saw in each room of the palace. This time, the student was able to describe to the minutest detail each room. The teacher was pleased and gently explained, Dear student, one should not live a one-sided life, thinking only of God and neglecting one's duties in the world, as was the case in your first trip. Concentrating on the lamp and seeing nothing of the palace. On your second trip, you kept your attention primarily on the lamps, seeing to it that you also thoroughly observed everything. So should your attention be primarily on God, not letting a single drop of self-realization slip away from you, and yet also devote part of your attention on efficiently performing your duties in the world, to family, friends, work, and society. And so ends the story of the teacher, student, and lamps. In this story, I feel the lamps and the palace rooms can reflect or represent whatever is most relevant or whatever resonates most with each individual. Your current goals and challenges in life. The story to me was all about knowing what your higher goals are and keeping that as your primary focus, never losing sight of that higher goal, but at the same time not becoming so engrossed in this one goal that you begin to neglect all the other aspects of life and what's going around you in the world, whether that be family, friends, work, your social interactions, your leisure activities. That's my take on the story. Fulfilling all my duties carefully in the world and in my life, but at the same time remaining focused and making progress towards my highest goal. So it inspired my channel because it gave me the idea of not having my channel be too one-sided, focusing fully on games or storytelling or philosophy, but to have a balance or find a balance. I'm not saying that I will hit that balance immediately, but over time finding that balance of rambling about a whole host of random topics. And an honorable mention, there was a book that I read, and within its pages it said, if you enjoy reading, say, fantasy books, then one day you should just pick up a random book about, say, birds. If you enjoy cooking Mediterranean food, then one day you should just try out, say, Thai food or Chinese food. If you like researching current events, then maybe you spend a day researching ancient history. And this concept I really liked, breaking that monotonous routine every once in a while so that I can experience new and fresh things. I can explore the vaster universe and world about me, do things that I never thought that I would do, expand my mind and intellect and imagination. So that is the inspiration for my YouTube channel and the content that I will be uploading. As Forrest Gump said, life is like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get. Similarly with my YouTube channel, you never know what random rumblings you're gonna get.